You bought the fancy pyramid bag because it looked like silk. It isn't. It's plastic. And when researchers at McGill dropped one of them into water at brewing temperature, they counted roughly 11.6 billion microplastic particles coming off it, into one cup. The question isn't whether that happened, it's whether any of it gets into you. But the box never says plastic. Silken, mesh, pyramid, those words do a lot of work, and not one of them means silk. That McGill team checked what 4 premium bags were actually made of back in 2019, and the answer came back nylon and PET. Same plastic family as a water bottle. Just spun fine enough to pass for fabric. So you upgraded from paper into plastic, and you paid extra to do it. Knowing what it's made of doesn't tell you how much ends up in you, though. So they steeped one empty bag. No leaves, just the bag, at 95 degrees, roughly what comes out of your kettle. That single cup came back holding about 11.6 billion microplastic particles, plus 3.1 billion nanoplastic ones. Billions is a hard number to feel. So anchor it this way. That's orders of magnitude more plastic than anyone had measured in any other food or drink. Heat is the trigger. Those same bags sitting in room temperature water shed a tiny fraction of that. It's the near boiling pour that does the work, which means the whole problem lives in one step. But swapping to the plain paper bag doesn't necessarily fix it. Most paper tea bags aren't folded and stapled anymore. They're heat sealed. And the stuff that lets paper fuse to paper is a thin web of polypropylene running right through it, so that bag that looks like a little envelope for leaves, it's got plastic in its seams, sitting in water at 95 degrees, doing what plastic does at 95 degrees. One lab is never enough, though. So in 2024, a team in Barcelona brewed 3 kinds of bag, polypropylene, cellulose, and nylon 6, and counted what came off. The polypropylene bags shed on the order of 1 billion particles per milliliter of brew. Your mug holds about 250 of those milliliters. Cellulose and nylon shed fewer. At that scale, fewer isn't the same as few. Here's the part the headline skipped. That 11.6 billion figure has a problem, and it didn't come from the tea industry. It came from other scientists. They published a formal comment in the same journal, arguing the counting method may have credited non-plastic material as plastic. That would make the famous number a ceiling, not a measurement. So the figure everyone repeats is genuinely contested, and it turns out the case against the bag never rested on counting at all. The Barcelona team didn't stop at counting. They dropped the released particles onto human intestinal cells grown in a dish and watched what happened. The cells took them up. If you want the evidence-first version of stories like this one, subscribing keeps them coming. In the mucus-producing cells, the ones lining your gut, the particles traveled all the way to the nucleus. That's the compartment holding your DNA. And that's the step almost everyone had quietly assumed didn't happen. Except the dish isn't the body. Blood drawn from 22 healthy adults, tested back in 2022. Microplastics in 17 of them. Not from tea, necessarily. From everywhere. The fix costs you nothing. Loose leaf, a steel or glass infuser, 3 minutes, and the plastic route is just gone. Because nothing plastic ever touches your hot water. No infuser? Look for bags that are stapled or stitched instead of heat sealed. The brands that skip the plastic seal tend to say so on the box. One purchase, once. And loose tea tastes better anyway. The leaves finally get room to open. Nobody can honestly tell you what those particles do once they're inside you. The World Health Organization looked at microplastics in drinking water back in 2019 and concluded the evidence was too thin to establish a health risk. That's not reassurance. And it isn't alarm. It's an open question. Which is exactly the argument for a change this cheap. You don't need the answer to stop adding to the exposure. So, does the bag put something in your tea the leaves never would? Yes, measurably. Does it reach you? Nobody can say yet. This week, buy the infuser.